So how much debate do you get into from time to time about diet and nutrition? And have you noticed how personal it can get and how vehement people can be about it? And in this video, I want to talk about diet and nutrition as two separate things because they're not the same thing. And I think the reason we get so worked up when we talk about this is because we conflate the two. We mix the idea of diet with the idea of nutrition, and they are two completely different concepts, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. So welcome to SHAPEFIXER. I am Andrew. I'm a nutritionist. I'm an athlete. I am 61 years old, so I've been through my issues around nutrition and diet, and I'm pretty healthy at the moment. Long may that last. But I'm also a science teacher, and I want to talk about these things because I think it really helps to keep front of mind the real distinction between diet and nutrition. So, what is diet? Diet is what you eat, what you choose to eat, what makes up your meals on a daily basis. What is on your plate? That is your diet. And when you choose your diet or formulate your diet, you do it based on a number of considerations. You want to do it for your health. You want to do it to follow your religious guidelines, if you have any. You want to feel that you're doing the right thing ethically and morally. You choose your diet around the food that is available to you where you live, and from season to season what's available. You base your diet around what you can afford to pay for. And a lot of those things are really personal. And they are important. They are massively important to you, and it's your diet at the end of the day. So you make those decisions on a personal level, and they won't be the same as your next door neighbor or somebody from a different culture or somebody on another continent altogether. But one of the considerations is nutrition. And nutrition is not your diet. Nutrition is a science, and it's the science of what happens to that food after you eat it, what it does in your body, what your body does with the components of your diet, so the nutrients that you get in your diet, and how your body rebuilds itself, repairs itself, how it operates, how it limits disease, your immune system, your hormone production. So your metabolism, in other words, your physiology and your metabolism are dependent on the nutrients you get from your diet. And nutrition is a science. It is what it is. It's chemistry. It's biochemistry, which is the chemistry of biology or living organisms. And biochemistry does not care what your culture is, or what your religion is, or what your ethics are, or how much you can afford to spend at the supermarket. It doesn't care. Your body works a certain way, and you need certain nutrients. So what we want to do when we talk about nutrition, and that's what I talk about on this channel, is nutrition. It's the one aspect that goes into your decision around your diet that shouldn't be something emotive or emotional for us to start shouting and screaming about, because it's not subjective. It just is what it is. It's biochemistry, and that's how it works. And we owe it to ourselves to understand as best we can what that biochemistry means, how it works, what we need, why we need it, what happens to our body when we get it, what happens to our body when we don't get it. And then we can take that knowledge and say, right, this is how biology works. This is how my body works. This is what it needs. How do I then overlay my religion, my culture, my ethics, what I can afford to buy? How do I, what I like to eat or don't like to eat, how do I factor in those subjective aspects into building a diet that works for me? And maybe it means you have to have some supplements because there are certain things you don't get because your culture forbids you from eating it or because you can't afford it. Fine, that's fine. I don't talk about your diet on this channel. I talk about nutrition, and I am as guilty as the next person of being careless with the terminology. Okay, I will sometimes talk about diet when I mean nutrition, and we all do this because we haven't really consciously understood that they're different things. So diet is subjective. Those are your decisions. One of the aspects, one of the considerations is nutrition, but cultural, religious, ethical, affordability, availability, those are other considerations that go into building your diet. So you can be anything from a vegan to a carnivore and be pretty healthy. Now, there will be certain aspects of veganism that you need to watch out for. There are certain aspects of being on a carnivore diet that you need to be aware of. And there's everything in between. And then there's the sugar issue, whether it's a ketogenic version of veganism or carnivore. But if you understand the science, you can make those decisions. And this is the point. So when we make videos on this channel, we try to stick to nutrition, science, explain the chemistry, the biochemistry, the metabolism, the physiology, how it works, what your body does with it and what it needs, what causes disease, how you can use nutrition to reverse disease or prevent disease, completely irrespective of your personal, very important choices in terms of your diet. And there are a lot of very healthy people on this planet with quite different diets because they've structured them in a different way. So join us on this channel to get a good understanding of how your body works, how your physiology works, the biochemical basis on which all this knowledge is built, so that you can also see through BS when it comes up, because there's a lot of BS out there, because there are a lot of people with an agenda and who will tell you what your diet should be rather than trying to educate you around nutrition so that you can decide what your diet should be. So on this channel, I don't want to tell you what to think. I want to help you decide what to think for yourself. So I will give you the science and some basic information, and you can take it away and think about it, and you can cross-check it and look it up and verify it, and that's all great. And in fact, we'd expect you to do that. And then add in your own subjective issues around your cultural situation and your personal situation. And then you can build a diet that is going to work best for you. Okay, that's what we do here. Join our channel, subscribe to our channel, think about becoming a member. Just there's a join button down below here. If you click on that and see what that's all about, and that, you know, that's no commitment clicking join. That's just actually to see what it's all about. But this is what we do here. Okay, so we try to understand the nutrition so that we are in a better position to choose a diet that suits us personally. And your diet doesn't have to be the same as my diet. My diet works brilliantly for me. A slightly different diet might work absolutely perfectly for you, but at least have the science and understand how the science works. Thank you so much for your time, and empower yourself by finding out as much as you can about how this works, because the agendas of big pharma, big food, there's a lot of money involved, there's a lot of misinformation, and a lot of very out-of-date science, which isn't based in science, was never based in science, and it's just become public belief. And we've got to be very careful and look out for that. Oh, hey, one last thing before you go. If you enjoyed this video and you get value from our videos, you should consider becoming a member of the SHAPEFIXER Club for additional content and further benefits. Just click the join button below this video to find out what that's all about. It would be great to have you on board.